morning. Good morning. Let's go to the Lord. Lord, this is the day that you have made. May we discover you in fresh, new ways. Open your word to us. Grant that our hearts, our minds would be open for all that you have for us this morning. Lord, help us to be here right now, in this place, focused on you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I was just wondering this morning, Doug, did you get some presents for Bonnie? Did you take good care of her?
Yeah.
Did a little something romantic. Dale, how'd you make out? Wait, Lisa, was he nice to you? Did you get a little something? She's being quiet. So wait a minute. Is this the kind of sermon where we can talk? Is that okay? How'd you make out, Paul? Were you nice to Esther?
Oh, yeah.
Esther, you agree with that? You know, you never know about these things. Well, I shouldn't have done it, but I went all out. Got my wife a Christmas present. A brand new crock pot. Nothing says I love you. Like, that's all right, give it up. You agree. Nothing says I love you quite like a new crock pot. Wait a minute, some of you are scowling at me for that. My sister has a saying, if it comes with a cord, it's not a present. So, I'm getting some dirty looks from some of the ladies. Hey, listen, I let her pick it out. It's not like I wrapped it. I mean, she wrapped it herself, so she, Mr. Romance through and through. I've been accused of it. It's just one of those things. She's actually happy. She made out pretty good. What do you say, honey? She's like, I'm in church. You expect me to lie? How did you guys make out for Christmas? Did you get some good Christmas presents? I hope you did. But there's one question that I have to ask you. How's your Christmas present? Now you're probably thinking, what's he talking about? See, when I talk about Christmas present, I'm not just talking about what you got under the tree. I want to talk with you about a Christmas present that is so much more powerful. Yeah, I'm going to talk about God and talk about Jesus. It's kind of an occupational thing, right? That's a good thing. But I want to talk about a Christmas present. As in the Christmas present. See, I'm not just talking about the stuff that you dash around like crazy for and that you wrap and that you put under the tree. But I want to talk about being in the present, in the here and now. See, because it's not always easy to receive that kind of present, to be in the here and now. But you see, we're told that one of Jesus' names is Emmanuel. It means God with us. We know that. We've been taught that, right? I mean, haven't we learned that from wee little on up, and maybe even in our Christmas, maybe we even have a name up there, Emmanuel. God with us. You see, God, our God is the God, well, he's the God of the present. He is God, the God of the present. Depending on who you are and what life is like for you. Discovering the God of the present in the here and now. That's Dickens when he was just a little boy. His Christmas present found him for a number of years. Being raised in a poor family, a very, very poor family. His Christmas present found him working in a blacking factory. Now, that may seem strange to us, but it's really, in England back in the 1800s, it was the concept of a shoe polish factory. And so his Christmas present in that time meant that he was tormented and ridiculed by other kids. His father was in debtor's prison. And he worked long hours to provide very, very little income for the rest of the family. That was where he found himself. That was the Christmas present. And you know what, it's interesting, because we all know. Does anybody not love Dickens? And we know from his book, A Christmas Carol. I find it interesting because Dickens referred to three ghosts, right? The ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future. And in that character, Ebenezer Scrooge, most ingenious character, which one of those does he fear the most? It's the ghost of Christmas future that he fears. But I want to hold something out to you for just a second. Because I wonder if it's actually Christmas present that we fear the most. I mean, if we slow down enough to think, to contemplate, Christmas present, where do you find yourself right here, right now? Maybe one of the most challenging places to live. And Emmanuel, God who is with us, is there to meet us in our Christmas present. Now, some of you are like, what in the world is he saying? Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and, on the back of your bulletin, start making out your grocery list, okay? Are you getting what I'm saying, church? Sometimes the most challenging place to live is in the present. We've already lived through the past and the challenges that we faced. And maybe in that present, in that past, there was could have been joys, could have been sorrows, could have been difficulties. Maybe it's riddled up, who knows? For some folks, it's guilt, maybe shame. Maybe there's joy there, I hope, as well. And sometimes we get tied up in the wish I woulda, coulda, shouldas. Maybe not those who are 18 among us, but maybe as we age, we look back upon our life and we wonder, what has it all meant? Where's it all gone? Did I do everything I was supposed to do? Was I where I was supposed to be? And we look back and maybe we have joy. But maybe there are regrets with that as well. For some of us, we don't want to talk, we don't want to spend too much time, in the present, in Christmas present. Because right now, your mind is someplace else because you're so worked up about, with some kind of anxiety that perhaps the enemy, maybe it's the enemy, the biggest enemy isn't, the devil, maybe it's just playing you. And what's the future going to hold for me? Not just in the coming year. Maybe it's the challenges that are yet to come, and your anxieties, your worries, your fears. Maybe the enemy has you so tied up with the stuff that's out there and yet to come that it's very difficult for you to live Christmas present. Right here, right now. You see, this Christmas present perhaps is not as easy as we might think. Simply being right here, right now. Oh, I know. Listen, I know the 2019 calendars are out, and you know what? I'll bet some of you, very ambitious types, already have your vacation in it, and you already know when payday's coming, you already know all of those things that are yet to come. Listen, is any of that guaranteed? Some of you spent, some time during this year in the hospital. I can guarantee you not all of it was planned. We don't always get to plan everything that comes down the pipe for us. Let me just come back here. How's your Christmas present? Maybe your Christmas present includes a new spouse. There's much joy for that. Maybe your Christmas present means a new baby in the house. You're getting used to life with a new baby in the house. For some, your Christmas present means relishing a handful of hard-earned A's from your first semester in college. And that's to be celebrated as well. And for some, the Christmas present that you are encountering is your first Christmas, perhaps in recovery. And facing the challenges of what that means, and now finding yourself, how do I manage recovery with family and parties and everything that goes along with many parties that we just think has to be there in order for it to be a party. So it means managing a new life in the here and now. And you're finding that it actually takes a certain amount of bravery to live in Christmas present. Amen. Maybe your financial difficulties. Now, listen, I'm not trying to bring you over. But, the Christmas present isn't always all the joys and everything, and I hope there have been many joys for you this year. But Christmas present really means to say that in the midst of everything that we walk through, that He's still Emmanuel, God with us. I know I'm not the only person in the room today that Christmas present means recognizing that this is also a year when I surrendered my mom to the Lord. Oh yeah, I know that's a joyous thing, right? Of course. It's turning her over to the Lord. But I know that I'm not the only one who knows what it is to grieve at this particular time of the year. And so finding the God who is the God of present right here, right now, is to find God on a journey of grief. Maybe your Christmas present means dealing with a defeat Well, guess what? We have a God who is Emmanuel. And he's there for your successes as well as your defeat. Emmanuel means God with us right here, right now, waiting to be discovered in the midst of all of these things. The joys, the sorrows, the successes, the defeats. Emmanuel, God with us right here, right now, in the midst of it all. And I love the fact that as we hear the nativity story and we hear the birth of Jesus, that we have Emmanuel, God with us, breaking out during a time when all of political things going on in the world were not calm and bright. They were difficult. People were highly taxed. There were many challenges, many inconveniences. But in the midst of that, God's answer was to make himself present in the here and now. And so the babe at Christmas is the ultimate Christmas present for the people of that time. And not only for the people of that time, but the people of this time as well. Church, are you hearing me? Living in the present isn't always easy to do. There's worries. After all, I've got worries to be concerned about. You don't understand this. And I got anxieties over things to come. There was a little cartoon. Charlie Brown says, "You don't understand. See, my worries have worries." But living in the present, in the Christmas present, as I said, is sometimes the greatest challenge to be faced. Sometimes just making it the next 5 minutes at a time. When you're not sure. For the long haul. Living in the Christmas present. His name is Emmanuel. But before that name was revealed, it was Jehovah. He who brings all things into being. To have that sense of being means he is in existence right here, right now, breaking out, waiting to be discovered. Shepherds discovered. Wise men discovered. Mary discovered, and she pondered. I can't help but wonder, when it says that Mary kept all these things in her heart, did she ponder? What does all of this mean? What is this gift that I've been given, this special sign unto us? Unto us. This present, right here, right now. Jehovah is that which is right here, right now. Before he was manifest as Emmanuel, the God of all eternity, made himself present. Things are not always that easy. And it's very interesting. Because if you look at the church year, and in particular the feast days that follow the Nativity of our Lord on the 24th and the Christ Mass on the 25th, December 26th is the Feast of St. Stephen. Does that name ring a bell? Yeah, my son over there is getting real excited. Different Stephen. And then follows the Feast of St. John the Evangelist on the 27th. And then what follows after that, the Feast of Holy Innocents on the 28th. In other words, the days remembering the first Christian martyr, St. Stephen, immediately follows Christmas. You know how that song goes? Good King Wenceslas went down on the feast of... You get what I'm saying? And then the gospel writer who encountered persecution and the innocent firstborn Jewish boys that died at Herod's command. So you see, it's not always all cheery and merry and green and red and colors and gold and glistening. There's a very real sense of something very powerful in this God of the present. And I want to tell you this because He is able to sustain this church. He is able to sustain you and the challenges that you face because He is Emmanuel. You don't know what this year is going to bring, but you can count on His loving, caring, present being with you right there in the midst of it. He's Emmanuel, God with us. And of all His names, Emmanuel promises and reminds us of where He promises to be. Right here, right now. How's your Christmas present? Isaiah 7:14. Therefore the Lord Himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.